Hello.
Hello, Carey.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself? Would your wife Chau join us today?
I think she should be. Let me just double check with her. Yeah, sorry, I think the timing got a little confused. So
My bad. While we're waiting for your wife to join, from the time management, I just want
sure.
to alert everybody. I do have a hard stop, 30 minutes into it, because I do have
Mhm,
another coaching session right after that. So
mhm.
we just want to make sure that you have plenty of time to ask any question, Carrie, and if we need to, we certainly can do a follow-up Zoom session. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think we're a little tight on time as well because we thought it was going to be earlier. So
Right. Yeah.
um,
My
yeah,
bad.
all right.
Yeah.
Where shall we
Okay.
begin?
Cool. All right. And Kim's already told me that he's have a class, so he couldn't join us. So I told him that
Okay,
I will record this session so he can certainly watch and doesn't feel like he missed out. So
very
a
good.
little bit about yourself, Carrie. If you can introduce yourself, let us know. I don't know how much you know about Bill School Foundation charity,
Mhm,
and if you need to, I can give you a very quick rundown. But let listen to you
mhm.
first.
Sure. Let's see. So, yeah, we had a nice talk, I guess, last week, and got a pretty decent introduction, I think, to some of your activities here in Vietnam and elsewhere.
Okay.
Um, let's see. So, where to begin? I guess I've been living here in Vietnam for almost 30 years now. Um, so, going back to the, quite early days, I went to study Vietnamese at the University of Hanoi in 92. Um, so, and spent a couple years in Hanoi, and then I was back in the States for a little while, and then in Saigon from, roughly 94, 95. Um, So, and then Cho and I met up, uh, roughly 90, 97, 98, I guess. And then we got married and started a couple businesses and, raised two kids and, have been living here ever since. And then more recently, about 10 years ago or so, I got involved with a local charity here called the Lynn Community Center.
Mhm.
Um, and that was trying to provide, technical support and training and financial support to local NPOs and to grow the local NPO community here, which is a bit of a challenging area that I won't get into, but yeah.
Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, chị.
And yes, so now Cho has joined us. And unfortunately, the Lynn Center has just recently been winding down its mandate and its programs here.
Okay.
So, after serving on the board there for many years, I'm kind of looking for new charities to engage with and get involved with here.
Sure.
And then Cho on her side has been working with her sister, who set up a fund or a foundation here. And they were very active during COVID, providing support to like local healthcare workers, getting them, masks and food and oxygen tanks and, O2 meters and stuff like that, during the crisis when there were shortages of, pretty much everything.
Yeah, we support the COVID hospitals
Okay.
and also like they call trạm y tế, trung tâm y tế
Right.
in the district, in the local neighborhood.
Okay.
We support them with like oxygen tanks and masks and
Great work.
yeah.
Yeah, so then I think Chau was talking to her friends and got some information about your organization. And meanwhile, I've been interested in education and the environment and issues like that. And it seems like there's maybe a good good kind of overlap here, or a good meeting of so we're interested to learn more about your activities and how we might get involved and support some of those.
Wonderful. All right. So since you got a good information sharing from Kim, I can just go through Build School Foundation pretty quickly. And Chau, if you have anything, in addition to what Carey just shared with us, please, please jump in, okay? But basically, 7 years ago, I returned to Vietnam while I'm working for the U.S. Embassy Hanoi. I just retired last summer as my younger daughter graduated from UCSD. Yeah, no more tuition. And then, I just retired because, and retired is a very fancy term because since then I've been working 200% on 100% on the foundation and 100% just on consulting and teaching. And I right after this thing, by 11:30 your local time there, I have to jump off because I coach another CEO. But anyway, I'm really passionate about education because when I left Vietnam when I was 16, that's after like a decade living with the communists. I'm sorry, I still use that term, communist Vietnam. After the fall of Saigon, I tried to escape from the Mekong Delta 15 times, and I went to prison twice. And I witnessed the state police shot and killed my brother. So those are a little bit background about me because when I was young boy came to America, I have a lot of hatred, a lot of resentment about Vietnam in my blood because I felt that my family fell apart and my brothers lost his life because the communists. But then again, when 2007, when the Vietnam Academy of Science Technology, VAST, invited me back because I'm known as the expert in tsunami warning detection. I really torn. I went to see my mom. Bless her heart and soul because she passed away, a while ago. But I say, Mom, it's funny that the country that really ruined us, and then our brother lost his life in the ocean in their sea. Now they invited me back to save their people from tsunami system and earthquake. But my mom told me something that I never forget as a young middle-aged engineer at that time. My mom told me that the people that hurt or ruin our family, it's not the same people that you try to save. So my mom asked me, where is your compassion? And that really struck with me because that just tell you that, from the mother who lost his son and is still willing to send another one back to help the country. That's just telling you why I learned to be so compassionate from my mother, right? And when I come back and I work with all the scientists there, and I share with them the story when I was little on my last attempt. I didn't have a chance to teach a kid in Cà Mau, in the fishing village, how to read and write after 3 days, stay in there. They harbor me in the fishing village there. But then I make a vow when I came to America that one day, if I ever make it and I have a chance to return, I want to build school for children. And that's why, that's a long background to why we only built in needed area in rural area, right? I
Mhm.
don't build anything in Ho Chi Minh City. I
Mhm.
will not build anything in Hanoi or Da Nang or major city that have plenty of corporations and especially multinational corporations that are already interested
Mhm.
in fame and fortune and PR and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So we're not a PR firm. When you
Mhm.
work with us, you really go help the needed. So usually we work in a border. We work down the Mekong Delta.
Mhm.
And right now we're in 7 countries around the world, just not just Vietnam. So Cambodia is like something that we get invested. Within a year and a half, we built 15 schools in the Tonle Sap, lakes around Cambodia there. So those are the introduction about who we are and what we're passionate about, children and education. I have a very soft heart for children and education. And yet
Mhm.
at the same time, as a Buddhist, I learned to do charity with wisdom, meaning I will not spend money to feed somebody or I will not help somebody in hospital in need just because to me, the need is so much um, and I have to pick and choose. And I want to invest where the most return on the investment, which is children and education. So I make that our strategic move very early. And that's why we partner with a lot of other organizations from Buddhist to Catholic or whatnot. So if somebody came to us with some of those helps, we will point them into the right direction. But we focus on our mission, which is building school and helping the children that at risk. Because if we don't, then they have a very high chance of get kidnapped and sold across the border for $100 a child. So those are the things that I'm very passionate about, and those are the things that everybody that working with me is 100% volunteer. Even when we return to Vietnam, we have to
Mhm.
spend our own money because our charity is a 501(c)(3). So we approve with the IRS, and everybody donate to us here. They can have the tax write-off benefit. But the most important thing is that I want people to do charity because they have a heart to help people, not because they want a job or yet they want fame or they want fortune. So those are the things that in our charity we make it very clear. All the volunteer that knowing that they're not going to get anything and they have to pony up their own money to go do charity with us. So those are how we able to say that 100% of donation go to other programs. And here's another thing. We got over 200% return on investment because any project that come to us, the local have to match at least 100%. Because when I decided to go and do charity, I went to Harvard and spent 3 months to learn how to run the nonprofit organization. And I learned all the failed models from, UK, USA, Germany, Australia, Canada. They gave 100%, and 2, 3 years later, the entire school they built just collapsed because nobody cares. So I learned that, and I say that I will not make that mistake. We want to partner and we want to help the children. We want to give job to the local parents, and we want to motivate the local leaders to be able to take care of the school while we turn over. So those are the very 3 key principles that make us different to any other organization that you might run into. Okay.
Mhm.
And we welcome people help support us from helping with donation, helping with finding project, help us go visit school because I cannot be everywhere, at all the time. Like last
Mhm.
October, Lily and I, my wife Lily, she at the Toastmaster meeting, that's why she cannot join us today. But we returned to Vietnam for 24 days in Vietnam and Cambodia. We visited 18 cities and 30 schools, 24 schools. So basically,
Mhm.
we live in the jungle at different hotel and different bus, plane every single night, so we can go see people. That's the level of dedication that I require in my staffs, in my volunteers, and also in our support. Because the people
Mhm.
that hang around with us, they gotta run around just like the chicken with the head cut off because we don't have much time while we're in Vietnam. We maximize our time, right? So those are the pretty quick introduction about who we are and what we're passionate about. And
Mhm.
I will listen to you to see how you see that you may be interested in partner or fit in with our, charity. And the most important is our philosophy when doing charity.
Mhm. Mhm. You have any questions or?
Pretty
anything?
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also came, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, how often do you usually get back to Vietnam for one of these whirlwind visits of yours?
The next time, believe it or not, my wife just gave me the travel schedule. So we will return late September, and we will be on the road for about 4 weeks this time.
Mm-hmm.
That means I will return around like 27 of September. We stay there until like the 24th. And this time we go to be in Vietnam, Cambodia, India, and Thailand, because we just have two new countries, which is Thailand and India, and then we need to go see it because our donor have not got a chance to see anything, and we will make the effort to go and visit, those two places. So that would be my next trip. I already booked, already planned, and maybe in summer, if things went out, we partner with somebody that to bring the whole bunch of teenager in America, Vietnamese Americans back to the summer. But I might turn that over to my partner because I do have to teach for the university here in September, so I might not be able to do that. So a long way to answer that, late September, early October, that's my next time to be in Vietnam.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we heard a lot about your Vietnam and Cambodia projects. Which areas in Thailand and India are you expanding?
Okay, so the India will be in the northern border. That's the Uttarakhand. I have not been in India, even though before I retired, the company I work with, it provides Tsunami One system for Thailand. But mainly we work down in Chennai. I never be in the north, but the country, I mean the school that we built up there is in Uttarakhand. So that's the state of Uttarakhand, right up north, right? The school in Thailand is in the very close to Shankla. Shankla is a refugee camp that when I finally get out of Vietnam, I was in Shankla province. So those places had a very, very near and dear to my heart. I'm working with, we say Thailand, but actually we built that with the Hmong people. So the Hmong people that scattered along Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand, those are the group that I'm partnered with to build a school there for Hmong, young girls. Yeah, that project is very, very women empower centric because most of them are young girls, and we just want to coach them, to teach them, and give them self-esteem. And those are a little bit higher level because we target for them not only to finish high school, but we want to be able to give them scholarship so they can go to college. Yeah. So the strategy in Thailand with Hmong people is a little bit different than most of the traditional school that we build in Vietnam and Cambodia or in India.
Sure. Yeah, I would think it could be challenging. Obviously, I mean, you know a lot about the situation in Vietnam, and I understand in Cambodia it's ethnic Vietnamese and whatnot. But when you move into these new countries, I'm just curious your process and how you find partners and things like that.
Yeah, the key is that we always take time to vet some new places. For instance, the lady that we work with in Kenya to save 60 battered women and 50 unfathered children, is that she asking us for 4 years before we finally decided to help her, because I have no way to vest her, and she only contacted me through Facebook and sent email. But finally we met African American educators here who traveled back there, already helped her. So that's how I validated, and I sent out a fundraise that we work together. So our foundation put in $6,000, and the retired educator that already know this lady in Kenya raised $6,000 on her own under our umbrella. So we put that together. So that's one example. The current example is that somebody in India. India, I was not plan to work with them, but but it came to us. And after 6 months of vesting that organization, they did not really meet our criteria of transparency and honesty. So we decided not to work with that project. And while we're waiting for that, since I'm in Toastmaster International, I have a network of Toastmaster friends all over the world. And luckily in 2016, when we only finished 3 projects in Vietnam, Toastmaster, got the winds up of all the wonderful things we do. And even though we are a very young organization, but I make to the cover of Toastmaster magazine. And this is just like a calling card. I got a lot of Toastmasters interested in working with us. And then, that's how it came to term with India. So everything, new country now, the first thing I do is that I reach out to my Toastmaster friends and say, can you find somebody in your country or near that town and go vested this organization for me and see if they're for real or not. So far, I've been able to find a lot of good friends to help us in that sense.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you're on a tight schedule and we are as well. Anything else, Chau, before we?
Maybe just share with Jimmy a little bit about us here.
Okay.
We actually, my family also went to escape from the country back like 1980.
Okay.
My sisters and my brothers also, went out of the country from Cà Mau, Rạch Giá.
Oh, okay.
And
right.
I was like, 8, 9 years old then. And then I also followed my sister to go to Rạch Giá, try to escape from there. But somehow I couldn't go. Every time I go, it's like storm or something. So I went back home. and then later, my sisters and my brothers sponsor my mom and me went to Canada for like 1993.
Okay.
Then I came back to Vietnam and to work for a short time.
Right.
Then I met with Carey. Carey was a journalist, came to the US, and then we set up the family here. Like late 1990, like the late 90s. So that's how we met and we set up. We have children and have business here.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So we love to do something for the people here, as you said, like your mom said. We of course we have some bad experience in the past, but we still love the country, love the people here, and especially Carey. He has a very big love for Vietnam. And I also a Buddhist. I follow Dalai Lama school, Tibetan Buddhism. Actually, today I have my master come to our house in a couple of hours to do blessing.
Okay.
And we have like many people come to the house, and
some guests.
We have some guests coming too.
Wonderful.
So
it's a busy day.
Yeah, very busy day.
Yes.
So I talked to him about the organization that I help with my sister here.
Right.
We're looking for some local group, like local school or organization that we can support them in terms of finance. I have something available here, and any work or any connection or something, if I can help, I can support him on that. No problem. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I know that when Kim mentioned to me about this meeting, he mentioned about your interest in the eco brick, meaning building school out plastic bottle, right? So we done 2 projects, one in Javin and one in Huế. We say Huế, but actually it's in Thuận An. It's a like a fishing town of Huế. And the eco brick is something that and you can see that not only we build school, we try to educate the children about the environment and why we do what we do at the same time, right? So those are a very holistic you know, charity with wisdom concept that I introduced to you earlier, because like Chau is a Buddhist, I'm Buddhist, and you know, wisdom and compassion is always, you know, those are the things that you see at the a gate at any temple, right? Từ bi and trí tuệ, right? And like Chau, she's subscribed to the Dalai Lama, but I practiced with the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh before I passed away. So Thầy is my idol. So my leadership and my charity philosophy has a lot of Thei's influence into it, right? That means be very mindful and be very, be conscious on your thought, be kind speech, and have compassionate action. Those are the 6 words that we live by. So back to the Eco-Brick School in Trà Vinh, we envision that to be a community center, because we work that with abbot. He's a Buddhist monk. So the abbot, you know, Đại Đức Thích Minh Trí, he's the one that have a temple. We built him, you know, a library for that temple. We built him an IT lab, and then we built a lot of bridges with him. And then we built a brick together on the land that his father gave it to him, but he donated to the you know, the temple there. And the vision that I have for that is that we will have like 10 classrooms. We only have 2 so far. We want to build out like 10 classrooms. We want to have a cafeteria, and we want to have like a homestay. So the children that we taught, we hope that they can grow up and learn how to run like a homestay. Because everything we do, we're looking for how they can be self-sustained, right? So that means if they can make money by hosting, you know, a foreigner come and teach English and stay there, whatnot, then hope their center be self-sustained. So those are something that I'm very passionate about. And if Eco-Brick is something you interest, then that may be a good location that we can pick up a conversation next time when we're ready, right? So I hope I'll go on Trà Vinh. And Trà Vinh is something from Ho Chi Minh City within like 3 hours car ride. You can get there. It doesn't have to be like 10 hours in some other places that we built. We might have to take a long time. Yeah. So
yeah, no, that sounds great. I think we'd very much like to visit there and see the project and see how that's coming along. So
yeah. The school is already up and running because we built the Eco-Bricks in 2021, and then up and running last October when we returned. We even went there and see the school myself, because that's the first Eco-Brick school in Vietnam. So we went, we see it, and with the local already using it. And I talked to the abbot. He addressed that. He expressed that he liked to have an IT lab and that thing, so student can learn, you know, basic computer and stuff like that. So when we build the next 2 classroom, it could be the classroom to have the Eco-Brick. I mean, to have the IT lab for them. And then when we build the IT lab, we probably try to get like 10 or 15 computer for them, because computer, you know, in a community center is something pretty big. Then all the poor children can come and learn, you know, on computer and stuff like that. So that's the project that I'm planning in the planning mode here. And if we have somebody support, that's something that would be, you know, work out pretty well for Thầy in Trà Vinh, and also for maybe for your organization. And then, you know, Build School Foundation, obviously we will make sure we try to raise funds, the mass, whatever that you can raise locally, or you can fund locally from Vietnam.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Well, so I think, yeah, it's good talking with you and learning more about your story and the what you're working on. And yeah, I think we'll definitely try and arrange a visit to check out that project, and then we can maybe circle back and see about next steps from there.
Okay, right. So I have Kim. I'm going to coordinate that visit with Kim and Thầy. Maybe that you guys can all go, then make a day trip, go down there and check it out. And when you check it out, you see everything fit, and then we can just, you know, have a action plan or a game plan moving forward. I don't mind if people spend time to vet us, to check us out, and then when we, you know, cross the T and dot the I, and now we kind of know each other, then we can just, you know, having, you know, the partnership. And then when we partner one project and see how it go and see if we can, you know, be long term. But with your presence in Vietnam, with your engagement with Links before, I knew Ling well because a lot of my volunteer went over there and helped out too. So it's so sad to hear now that they disappear, but there are plenty of opportunity to help if we really want to help. That's how I see it.
Yes, the needs are great. So yes, there's a lot of work to be done. That's for sure.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Thank you.
Châu, you have anything else for us, Châu?
I think it's very good information for now.
Okay.
And yeah, if anything, I can communicate with Kim and yeah.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much,
Go,
Cherry.
Cô Phương Hồng, anything from you, Cô Phương Hồng?
Oh yeah, Phương Hồng is my friend. Oh,
Yes.
Hồng. Hello.
Hello.
Hồng will come
I
to
see
our
you
house
soon,
later.
Yes.
Yes.
Very
I
soon.
see. Thank you. Me, I just listening to support Kim and nothing for now. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Well, we'll
Thank
see
you,
you soon.
everybody, for your time. And, take care of yourself. And then until we meet again, have a good lunch. Okay?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great. Thank
Yep.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.